Finally, a new Assassin's Creed leak, and this time it's an actual screenshot from the game. I'm starting to actually get excited for Assassin's Creed Mirage once again, and it couldn't have come at a more perfect time. With gameplay just around the corner in a few months, seeing something like this is just jumping us on the hype train even more if it wasn't enough already. In today's video, we're going to be analyzing and going in depth on this leaked screenshot from Assassin's Creed Mirage. Is it real? Is it fake? What does it mean for gameplay? Can we piece together a few things such as investigation, inventory, and tools to figure out what Assassin's Creed gameplay is really going to be? All of that stuff and more in today's video, and I'm very excited. So without further ado, press the subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with everything Assassin's Creed Mirage, and let's just get into this video. You can hear the excitement in my fucking voice right now. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is always take any leaks that you get with a grain of salt. They can of course be fake. That being said, this is by the username of xJonathan. Now this guy has leaked Assassin's Creed Mirage information in the past, so he is technically a credible source. But again, this could be fake. Who's to say? There's such a thing as Photoshop. There's such a thing as Illustrator. You know, people can make these things. So could it be fake? Yeah, it could be. But do I think it's fake? Just due to the person that's posting this, I think there's a chance it could be real. So let's analyze this photo. Now, quite annoyingly, the photo is covered up by this guy on Instagram's text that he's put over the screen. It's really annoying. It's like he's trying to hide something, which does worry me and think, well, why are you trying to hide a bit of the screen? You know, does the face not match Basim's because it was actually created in Unreal Engine 4 or Blender or something like that? You know, who's to say? But I think we're just going to start off, because it's exciting, by pretending this is real. Let's imagine, okay, let's just say it's real. Then we can be more skeptical at the end of the video. Now, I don't read French, but if anyone wants to translate in the comments, feel free to do so, and maybe we'll get a little bit more information from that. As you can see, this is the inventory menu of the pause menu in Assassin's Creed Mirage. You can see Basim stood showcasing his gear. Now, this leads me to believe that there might be a very similar gear system to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just by the way it's portraying and previewing Basim as your playable character. If we look back at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you could change your gear in a gear menu that looked very similar to this, and the character would be shown on screen, so when you equipped a helmet or another piece of clothing, it would show that on the character and you could mix and match. Now, I wonder if this is the case with Basim. Maybe rather than just getting different robes and dyeing your robes, you can customize your robes. Perhaps you can find a wrist strap for your robes that gives you a little bit more agility when climbing. Similar to how you were able to jump ledge or whatever it was called in Assassin's Creed 2, but you had to unlock a certain glove to be able to do that. Maybe there's just more options like that throughout the game. Perhaps you can equip different hoods for Basim throughout the game. In the trailers, we've seen different types of hoods that Basim is wearing just in that one trailer. So maybe you've got one sort of overall robe and you customize it here and there with bits and pieces, maybe similar to Fallout 4 with the armor layering system. That's only speculation because that's all this is, but that would make sense to me. Now, I do also want to mention before we get into investigation and tools, it looks to me here that we can actually see kind of what the graphics in Valhalla is going to be like. Now, we obviously knew the engine and pretty much nothing was going to be changed from Valhalla to Mirage. It was originally going to be a DLC, and now it's its own game, so we can't really expect it to look too different. And again, I guess that's just confirmation of what we suspected in that case, but it just looks nice. You know what I mean? If you look closely there, you can see the robes. They're looking just pretty, beautiful. You know what I mean? And I know it's the pause menu. Again, it still gives us a tiny bit of an idea to what the game is going to look like when we play it. Not much, but it's something. I'll just say one more time, of course it's the main menu, so it's not going to portray exact gameplay and graphics from the actual world itself, but the shadows and lighting here give me a very Assassin's Creed Unity vibe. And I did mention in a previous video that Assassin's Creed Unity had much better lighting in the game, which made the graphics look a lot better to the naked eye. So maybe this game is going to have better lighting, meaning the game's graphics, although not different than Valhalla's, will look slightly better. Okay, so looking at the investigation tab, this gives me a ton of AC1 vibes. In Assassin's Creed 1, you would do various different investigations around the cities before you would basically find out where your target is and assassinate them. This looks to me that we're just going to get a more fleshed out version of that system from Assassin's Creed 1, now having a tab on the pause menu where maybe you can read through letters you've found, look back at conversations you've eavesdropped on to remind yourself of where the target might be. Maybe there's different branching opportunities and you can look through that like a almost tree in the menu of branching possibilities. And I know this is a completely different thing that I'm showing on screen right now, and this is from Shadow the Hedgehog on the OG Xbox and GameCube and everything, so it doesn't really make sense why I'm showing it. I'm just showing it for visual purposes. Maybe the investigation menu will have branching different opportunities and scenarios that look something like this. Again, I'm not saying it's the same at all, but for visual sake, for aesthetic's sake, let's look at this. Now, this is really interesting to me and exciting because I really wanted a more fleshed out version of the Order of Ancients assassination missions in Valhalla and Odyssey. You know, they were cool, they were a good idea, but they were pretty easy. You find a little few clues here and there, you go to assassinate them, you do it, it's done, you move on. Now, I'm thinking this is going to be similar to Order of Ancients, but they're going to mix in the Assassin's Creed 1 investigation missions, where you properly investigate each target, you really delve into who they are as a character, you learn all about them, you get invested in this character, so that when you finally go to assassinate them after you've found out all the clues and investigated a lot, it's even more heavy hitting when you do assassinate them. Then you get that confession sequence and it just, it's like a chef's kiss of Assassin's Creed assassinations. At least I hope it's going to be that way. Now, looking at tools, I think this is potentially either just going to showcase the tools you've unlocked throughout the game, like in Assassin's Creed Unity when you unlock the Phantom Blade. It's either just going to be a section to look at what you've got and to remind yourself how to use them, or, and I think this might be more likely, it's going to be somewhat of a skill tree. Now, don't get too worried. I'm not saying the game's going to be an RPG like Valhalla and Odyssey, but I wonder, is this tool section of the game going to basically give you upgrades for certain weapons? Like you have throwing knives, you can have a higher capacity of throwing knives at one time if you upgrade in the tool section. So instead of carrying 5, you can now carry 10, or something like that. Maybe you have a further reach of how you can throw them and you can target enemies, you know, further away if you get another skill in the tools tab. You know what I mean? It's something to think about, and that makes a lot of sense to me because I don't think Ubisoft are going to want to take away from the RPG elements completely. Again, I don't think it will be an RPG game or RPG style game, but this does lead me to believe that they are going to retain a few RPG features while not getting rid of it completely. Think about the skill tree in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It's kind of bare bones, it doesn't really need to be there, but it is there and you can upgrade if you want, and if you don't want to upgrade, it's not going to hinder your game completely, but maybe things won't be as easy as the game goes on, and I guess that's more of a challenge. Aesthetically and branding wise, this does look legit to me. Again, I don't know whether this is real or fake. If anyone has any more information on that, feel free to let me know in the comments and we can get another discussion going. But judging just by what we're seeing here, I think it's very possibly real. Again, please don't get your hopes up and take my word for it because I could be completely wrong. Who knows whether leaks are real or fake, but you can take into account what the leaker has said about before. Have they been correct? Have they been wrong? And think, okay, well, are they credible? Do they post legit stuff? If they do, then maybe this is also real. You know, they don't want to tarnish their credibility by posting something fake, so it's likely that this probably is real. Now, this Jonathan guy, I think from what I understand, he was an Assassin's Creed YouTuber or just a YouTuber in general, and he got basically more access from Ubisoft because, you know, Ubisoft like to work with big influencers, and basically he squandered that trust by revealing a lot of information. So, you know, shitty thing to do from this guy. I'm not saying he's a cool guy for doing it. I don't really fuck with, you know, basically ruining the trust that you have with a company. It's kind of fucked up. It's like saying to your mother, who you love dearly, I promise I'm not gonna rob the bank, because that would be a horrible thing to do. It wouldn't be nice for you to know that your son robbed the bank. I'm not gonna do it. I love you. And then you go and do it anyway. You know, you love your mother. You wouldn't do that, but this is kind of what the vibes it's giving me. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just chatting some shit right now. Maybe we're gonna move on. So yeah, overall, I'm very excited by this. You can probably tell the excitement in my voice, and I haven't shut up for about 10 minutes now. I'm just excited, and I'm sure this excites you guys too if you've been on the hype train for this game as much as I have for the last, 6-7 months. Now again, reserve your judgment. It's always good to be cautiously optimistic. That's the same with anything in life, not even just games. It could be the same for real life stuff. Does this screenshot alone mean it's going to be a good game? Of course not. So that's a whole other conversation for another day. But this can excite us. This can make us realize, okay, there is something for Ubisoft to show, and clearly there's a build of the game out there which has been refined to the point where they're actually including, detailed designs. Look at the inventory symbol. There's an Assassin's Creed sort of logo thing floating around there. They put work into the detail of this pause menu, which is the sort of thing developers probably do near the end of the development of a game. They put the base game together, and then all the small details such as the logo in the inventory section, they're going to put that stuff at the end because that's sort of the afterthought. That's just polishing things up. So I think the game is probably going to be ready to be shown in June, and I think this kind of unofficially confirms it, to me at least anyway. Don't get mad if it's not at E3. Sorry, wait, no, not E3. Don't get mad if it's not at Ubisoft Forward. But I think this is a good sign that it possibly will be there and we'll have a decent amount of gameplay to be seen. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments and we'll get a discussion going. I'm excited. I want to know your thoughts and yeah, let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this video or you want to stay up to date with everything Assassin's Creed Mirage, press the like button so I know that you want to see more just like this. And if you want to stay up to date with everything AC Mirage, press that subscribe button. I love you. May the Father of Understanding guide us. I will see you soon. Goodbye.